Plans for Paul Heyman's WWE stable have been revealed. Plus, we have an update on a WWE Champion's hiatus, and The Undertaker makes a surprise appearance on NXT. It's all in the Cultaholic Wrestling news right now. So it was on the Raw after WrestleMania where we saw the dangerous alliance of Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins, and Bron Breakker formed in that main event scene. And it led to people speculating that how this stable will grow, who will be added to the stable, who will have a feed bag strapped over their mouth and fed and raced out of the stable. I'm using the stable thing
horses
very literally. But it looks as if there are no more horses running in this race, or are there? Let's find out from Jack the Jobber.
Well, let's find out from Fightful Select, and I will tell it to you, because they have offered an update on the situation, saying as of WrestleMania weekend, the plan was for the group to consist of Heyman, Rollins, and Breakker, without any additions for the time being. Obviously, that can change, but that was the internal working plan as of the formation of the stable. I don't think it's disappointing, obviously, especially after all the speculation from everybody getting involved online, saying, who do you want to see in the stable? But I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily to keep it as the core two plus Heyman.
Yeah, I think because traditionally, obviously, I mentioned the dangerous alliance at the start there, where you had Paul Heyman as the sort of classic manager that had several people that he was guiding the career of, and we thought maybe there might be a female talent added to this roster as well. So to hear this could be those two, you know, there'll be some disappointment from people who think maybe there should be, it's an opportunity for more people to grow, but I kind of like it just being the two as well.
It keeps the spotlight on Bron Breakker especially as well, doesn't it? And like you say, the dangerous alliance is a very apt thing, because you've got the showman, the arrogant one, the leader, the Shawn Michaels is Seth Rollins, and then you've got the hater, Tom, the boiler, as I like to call them, the heavy.
I think
the good time boy.
He's the good time boy.
Bron Breakker.
He's the smiley champ.
Yes.
He's everyone's favourite lovely egg. And I think maybe I don't want to. It's so funny that when these stables are formed, when these factions are born, you immediately start going, when they break up.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited for that Batista babyface. Oh my god. But I wouldn't mind if that was like, a year plus in the distance.
Yeah, we do not need it right now. We need to just enjoy the journey that we're on right now. On Raw this past week, we saw Liv Morgan announcing that she, as Women's Tag Team Champion, is taking a little bit of a hiatus to do some big Hollywood stuff. Now, in terms of what that is, it was speculated that it could be Liv Morgan entering the Marvel Cinematic Universe. What's the latest on this, Jack?
It's very different, actually, which is quite strange. PW Insider are reporting that this is not the case. Mike Johnson says that Liv's part is a, quote, major dramatic role, with one source calling it one of the most impressive gets imaginable. The role that she's landed is still very much a secret right now, but it's not for the upcoming Avengers Doomsday or any superhero movie for that matter.
Yeah.
That's more intriguing.
I'm so intrigued now.
What's a big get in modern cinema? I've seen people speculating that it'll be Christopher Nolan's Odyssey movie. He's doing a movie on the Odyssey.
That was the first one that sprung to my mind as well. And if it's not superhero based, whether or not there is some other project that's ticking along.
Is there a James Bond or something? I don't know.
And it's always going to be. I mean, Amazon just bought the rights to James Bond.
James Bond will be back. They tell us that. They go, James Bond will be back in.
Which is great, because
diamonds are always there forever.
Diamonds are always there forever in a bit, sponsored by Amazon.
Yeah.
That's going to be great when he's getting those Amazon deliveries of all his new weapons.
Yeah.
Pay attention to 007, it'll be there within 2 to 3 working days.
Basically the plot of the last David Fincher movie, The Killer. But if you want to watch that, he uses like Google and Amazon to like stalk his targets and stuff. It's crazy. Anyway, sorry, Liv Morgan.
Fightful Select adds that regarding Liv Morgan's movie role, people close to her claim that people's jaws will drop when the announcement comes, which should be next week. We're told it's a movie that doesn't appear to be on anyone's radar.
What does that mean? Maybe Bond? She could be not a Bond girl, but like a great villain in a Bond film, I think. But I really don't. What could this be?
Speculate.
I was going to say, is there Star Wars? There's always new Star Warses.
Nobody is saying that she is going to play Mrs. Goggins in Postman Pat the movie.
You would be buzzing if that was the case.
If she played Mrs. Goggins in Postman Pat the movie, I'd be delighted.
Greendale's in danger. In a war, only one man can deliver the mail.
Pat the movie.
Yeah, just Pat, yeah.
I'd love a super dramatic version of Postman Pat the movie. That would be amazing.
Jess has gone feral.
Everyone's worst fear is everyone's last hope. Pat the movie.
Yeah. and then like a creepy minor key version of like doom, doom, doom. Yeah. We've done it, Tom. We've nailed it. We need a trademark, just Pat.
It's shot of Postman Pat in the post office throwing down several letters going, I will not die for this!
Next up in the news anyway, before we career off the rails.
No, I think we should talk about Pat, the movie star, Liv Morgan as Mrs. Goggins.
Last night on NXT, Tom, we saw the end of a quite under-the-radar beloved faction in WWE. It was the Meta 4. Noam Dar, of course, you may have seen returned last week on last week's episode and won back that Heritage Cup that he so treasured. And they all had a reunion backstage on last night's show. But it was a bittersweet one, Tom.
Oh, it was. They had a lovely catch-up backstage, did the metaphor, and it was Lash Legend getting very teary as she said, look, a lot has changed since you've been away. We've been challenging for titles. Me and Jakara Jackson. Aura Mensah's been killing it on Evolve. So I think it's time for us to all go our separate ways. Someday life will find you. So Aura Mensah off to go and do great things in Evolve. One of the most successful NXT UK talents. He really is. You forget
genuinely,
apart from all the others. Obviously, Jakara Jackson apparently going solo as well, because Lash Legend even said that she wants to go and do her own thing as well.
Fair enough.
They all had a big hug and left Noam Dar with the NXT Heritage Cup. Felt really sad because I feel like we barely scratched the surface with the metaphor.
Yeah, they had bad luck with obviously injuries and stuff. But hopefully they all go on to do great things. I think it's quite clear that maybe Lash is the best position one at the moment that they'll want to really push, maybe on the main roster in the near future. But it's that most rare of things in wrestling, Tom. It's an amicable group breakup there.
Yeah, it's very rare. And who knows, that might be something that we maybe see rekindled in years to come, but for now, intrigued to see what they do. I think that I'm intrigued to see what we get with Noam Dar as Heritage Cup champion, because I'm hoping that he reinstates the NXT
round system,
Heritage Cup round system. Because what's the point? It's just a cup.
Yeah.
The whole thing was it's called the Heritage Cup because it leans back to World of Sport days and the round system, and obviously they modified it to make it more palatable for sports entertainment. But that was the reason it was there. It was a callback to World of Sport.
I think it's just NXT, Tom. It's just what they do. They forget things quite a lot, and they lose their way. Shawn Michaels, what's he like?
Yeah, I bet Chef Michaels would have lasted three rounds with Big Daddy.
That's right.
Yeah, he struggled in there.
Easy.
Hey, speaking of wrestling legends, another one made a surprise appearance on NXT last night.
Yes, this was while Obafemi was talking about Trick Williams and other future NXT title challengers, and then someone popped along to say there might be some other challengers from where you least expected. It was The Undertaker just rocking up on NXT and saying to Obafemi that you better watch out because my guys from the show LFG, Legends and Future Greats, they're coming for your title very soon. And as he said that, we saw a trio of them walk in behind Obafemi, Shiloh Hill, Anthony Luke, and Jasper Troy. I reckon that, well, first of all, I reckon this is quite smart, getting in early and sort of saying, look, we've got prospects coming from all over the place, keeping the fans aware. But I don't think Oba's shaking in his boots quite yet.
No,
he's Obafemi, Tom.
No, I noticed the fact that he barely even acknowledged they were there. They were stood behind him, and he stayed looking at the Undertaker for most of the time, and he just went, "I look forward to the challenge," and then walked off.
Have you noticed that WWE are turning their own system now that they've got Evolve and LFG and then the people who just come through developmental on the athletes program and everything? They're turning their own hierarchy into career mode. That's what they're doing.
They are, aren't they?
These guys are right now have been playing the game for like a couple of hours, and they need to level up their stats and stuff. That's what WWE do. It's bizarre.
They're grinding XP on Evolve.
Yeah, they are.
That's how you'll do it now.
But you will occasionally bump into the Undertaker backstage or whatever. Keep it going, kid. Here's some boots that'll give you +2. Or
I love that.
But that's what WWE have turned this into now, and it's quite strange, isn't it? And even with now on the indies with the ID program and everything, didn't they do that in a recent career mode where you start on the indies, but it's very much like...
Oh, yeah, and you get scouted whilst you're doing stuff there. Yeah. You can get brought in through... I think on the new game, you can decide whether you're like an indie darling or like an MMA fighter or...
One of the templates,
yeah, that's right. it. But a lot of stuff is... Because
Fighter man. Indie.
I am Fight Man, Keith Bacon.
Lord Bear's croupier.
Pyramid worker. But there's like one on 2K25. There's one of the arenas which is like essentially WrestleCon with a ring in the middle.
Right.
It is my favorite.
Loads of fans all around with smelly lines coming. Ooh, smelly fans.
Smelly fans.
Indie fans. Gross.
I like they've got all these great arenas in 2K25.
Oh, yeah.
I like just the dusty armories. I like doing the small venues in there. And maybe, as you say, they have built what WWE always wanted, this sort of entire system, this organism.
Taking over the world.
Yeah, that was
world.
always the plan. And I do hope that as one of them enters their next match, Undertaker does hand them boots that give them plus two.
I didn't specify +2 to what, just +2.
They just get +2
plus
for
two.
something or other. For the very latest wrestling news at any time, you can check out cultaholic.com. And also, if you missed it, because a lot of people in the comments yesterday saying, I want to see Adam win Hell in a Smell.
Yeah.
Because after 69 hours, nice. Adam Pacitti escaped Hell in a Smell. The moment that Adam escaped, you can check out on our Twitter and our Facebook pages right now. If you follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter /X, you can watch the moment he escaped there. The elation from that man, off the charts.
I need to watch it myself. I've not seen it yet.
This office still stinks, by the way.
Yeah,
It will do for a little while.
Yeah.
Stay safe and love you. Bye.